Well, hello everyone, thank you again so very much for sitting down and joining me today. It's so very nice to meet you if I haven't already met you in some way, shape, or form. My name is Ryan, and today's video is bringing us back to the rapid fire review segment, the 60-second review segment. I'm liking this one. We did it with 10 titles last time, and I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with that. I decided to trim it down, doing just five titles in this particular one. Reasons for that is because of the fact that it does allow me to put out content at a more regular pace now that I am back at work, thankfully. And so watching may be maybe a little more sporadic, not as consistent as it was during my time off of work. So doing it with 5, but with this particular one, and hopefully some subsequent ones, especially with limiting it down to 5, there is a bonus haul if you stick around to the end of these reviews. So, as I said before, we have 5 titles here, all recent watches. They're all first watches for me, with one exception. There is a rewatch in one. So we do have I did not bring the iPad this time because I was having apparently trouble figuring out how to work my own tablet. So in this time, we have, maybe, yes, we have the watch. We have the watch here that'll help us count down to these 60 seconds. So I've got the movies, I've got my water, I've got the watch, and I've got the bonus haul to stick around at the end. So let's get going. Alright, so if you saw the previous installment in the rapid fire reviews, you already know the drill. So we got 60 seconds on the clock, and the very first one is Radio Flash. Now this is a 2019 release put out by Shout Factory and IFC Midnight. This is a post-apocalyptic tale, although not in the traditional post-apocalyptic sense, such as something like The Road, which it does definitely take inspiration from. This is following a teenager by the name of Reese and her father after a sort of like an EMP burst, a blackout of the entire city, which does actually tend to be larger than it is, and they are having to go on a journey to her grandfather's, who is the prepper, who may not seem so crazy after all. Reese is a gamer, primarily in VR gaming. She's very adept at solving puzzles, which is something that is definitely going to aid them in their journey to come. This is actually a very, very well done movie. It really takes a lot of turns because it starts out as this post-apocalyptic, almost adventure story, but definitely becomes much more gripping and harrowing as it does differ into slightly horror movie territory, sort of like Hills Have Eyes-esque sort of territory. Although I will say that we do have her adaptability at solving puzzles, but it is maybe a little bit far-fetched with some of the things that she is able to do. However, though, it is one that I would not sleep on. It is a very good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And we actually went a little bit over on that one because the watch will let me will kind of flash at me when it's when my minute is up. So that's something that's good. I'm sorry, I went a little bit over, but I do like this one actually quite a lot. That was a really good one. Now, the next one, let's go back and reset this one. All right, hopefully let's not go over, no, not 10 minutes, that's way too long, okay. All right, so 60 seconds on the clock, we're not gonna go over, I'm calling it now, I'm not gonna go over because I'm not cutting like I did last time. I did so many cuts, so you're getting this in real time, you're getting my fumbling, and I do sort of blather onto my, when it's just me. So 60 seconds on the clock, and the next one is 1959's A Bucket of Blood, Roger Corman's A Bucket of Blood. This was a phenomenal movie. I really, really enjoyed this one. It's just over an hour, and it is a dark comedy, a satire spoof of like the Mysteries of the Wax Museum, and that style of film where you have a very awkward, socially awkward, disillusioned male who wants to become an artist, and through a series of mishaps ends up becoming an artist by essentially encasing the bodies of murdered victims in clay. It is really hilarious. The best thing about it, though, is the portrayal of the beatnik culture and the pretentious nature. So the pretentiousness and laziness of the members of that subculture. It is phenomenal. Interestingly enough, is that next year Roger Corman would pretty much reuse the exact same sets and a lot of the premise when he did Little Shop of Horrors. So this is one that was I really, really enjoyed this one. It's very funny. It's very twisted. A Bucket of Blood. And that's pretty good. I got that right on time. All right, now this next one I did want to do a feature presentation on, but for reasons that I'm going to try to condense into 1 minute, it was very difficult to try to do a full feature presentation on. I'm not gonna go over. I'm not gonna go over. I promise. I'm calling it now. I'm not going to go over. But I may squeak in a couple of things, not review territory or plot territory. Cat's doing the cat thing, but add just a little bit of add inside it, because why this movie was made in the first place is super interesting, but we'll go into that real quickly afterwards. So 60 seconds on the clock, and it is 1987's Straight to Hell. Now Straight to Hell is a parody of a spaghetti western, primarily parodying or taking a lot from Django Kill. This is a totally bizarre movie. You have three hitmen who have bungled their job, and then in order to escape their boss, they rob a bank on their way to lay low because they've used all of the advance money. So they go into a desert town that they presume to be empty. However, it is filled with this weird commune of psychopaths who are all addicted to coffee. Yeah, that sounds absolutely insane, because it is. There is so much going on in this film that I cannot tell if it is a good film. I actually really don't think that it is a good film, but it is so much fun because it is so bonkers and outlandish and crazy, and half the time things don't make any sense, and it's violent, it's provocative, it's so much fun because the whole premise does sound insane, and it truly is about as crazy as it is, and that is Straight to Hell. And that, all right, we got that in a minute. Now, just squeak a couple of things in there. As you can see, if you saw my Kino Lorber Memorial Day sale haul video, you saw why I had picked this up. And the reason, if I can get that in there, was actually the Pogues. So we have, we have Joe Strummer, we have the Pogues, we have Elvis Costello in this one. And the great thing about the Pogues too is that Shane McGowan does have an actual part in there. He's not, I mean, it's a bit part, but he does have lines, and and he actually plays a pretty pivotal part to a degree. But what's really interesting about this film is that the reason that this film even exists in the first place, this is why I just had to kind of squeak this in here, is that there was actually going to be a tour planned with these musicians, these prominent musicians, and other members. There are other bands whose members are just like, you know, side parts, extras, that sort of thing. And it was in Nicaragua, I believe, but due to political reasons, they had to cancel the tour entirely. They were not able to do it. So you have Alex Cox, who had just got done doing Sid and Nancy, which is a phenomenal movie. Him and Dick Rude, who was the co-author of the screenplay and one of the main cast, they decide, well, we have all of these rock stars together and nobody's getting paid, because the whole reason they got them together and all of the promise that they got for them, it's not happening. So we got them all together. What could get these guys paid? Yeah, we'll make a movie. So they had everybody fly to Spain. They wrote the film in 3 days, and it shows. And I want to say like 4 weeks is what they shot this in the middle of the desert, 6 a.m. to like 7 p.m., 5 days a week. Guys, this movie is so crazy. It is, like I said in my little 60-second review, I can't tell if the movie is good, and I really don't think. The more I think about it, I don't think the movie is good, but I love it. I love this movie, and I'm so excited to revisit it down the line and watch it again, because it's a lot of fun. It's just, for such a simple premise, you'd be surprised at how confusing the movie really can be, but very, very good one. Now, this very next one, let me get this watch reset while I chatter. This next one, believe it or not, was a first watch for me. It comes in a 4-movie pack that I have here from Blue Underground. And I was surprised that it took me, it's because of the fact that it was so difficult to get a hold of. And right when I had purchased this, the announcement that it was going to be re-released on Blu-ray came out later. So it was really getting a hold of it, which actually, when I did a little bit more digging, it wasn't as difficult as I had thought. But anyways, beside the point, 60 seconds on the clock, and it is Django, the very first Django, the 1966 spaghetti western. I had never ever seen Django before, and actually, side note, halfway through Django, I paused it and I immediately pre-ordered my Blu-ray copy, not the steelbook, the regular copy. This movie, it really, every bit of praise and hype that it gives is totally worth it. It is phenomenal. The music is so good. Franco Nero is amazing. And it's the characters, I mean, because Django, it is very much a little bit like Sabata. However, when it comes to Sabata, you have really nothing, no drive behind who Sabata is, but that works for that. But Django is so well rounded. We get a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and it all pays off in a beautiful, beautiful finale. There's tons of bloodshed. I mean, you're never going to forget the feeling of when you saw what was inside the coffin. It is, I love this movie to pieces, and I am so excited to get it on Blu-ray. I'm absolutely excited, but that is Django. Yep, got it. Got it. I see, because I want to do, when it comes in, which actually it is on its way. It should actually be here tomorrow at the time of me filming this. So I am going to do like a video, an unboxing of the Django Blu-ray. So I'll go a little bit more into it. But again, I didn't want to do a whole feature presentation on it because, I mean, it's Django. Most people have seen Django, but I didn't. So I figured 60 seconds to gush about it. I can do that, and then we'll do an unboxing, and I'll give a little bit more about it as well. But so good. It's a shame it took me this long. This last one is a rewatch for me. So it is an Arrow video release, so 60 seconds on the clock, and the rewatch was House. I actually hadn't seen House since I had rented it from Blockbuster on VHS. And this movie was so much better than I remembered. I remembered really enjoying the movie because of the fact of the mishmash of genres, where you got a lot of horror and a lot of comedy. However, one thing was William Katt's performance in this that I really kind of took for granted, I suppose. And I think a lot of people take for granted, because he is doing a phenomenal role, because he is doing, he is literally throwing himself into so many different kinds of movies, as horror, as psychological drama, as action, as comedy. He is really putting on a whole lot of faces in this haunted house story, and it's phenomenal. He is literally I mean, there's a whole cast of characters, but really William Katt is the main driver behind House, and that's what I think makes it so good. The best part about it, I mean, obviously to me, what I always remember was Big Ben, and seeing the Big Ben, the skeleton Big Ben's costume in high def was a real treat. This movie was really, really good, and the costumes, the makeup effects, the editing. I really, really enjoyed this movie, and it was so much better than I actually remembered it. So yeah, really happy to have rewatched House. And I did go a little bit over just to kind of finish off the point, because I don't want to just drop mid-sentence. But guys, that is 5 films, each 60 seconds roughly, 60 seconds roughly, that I had seen recently, with all first watches, with one being a rewatch for me. And you stuck around this long to hear me chat for 60 seconds each about 5 movies, so you have earned the bonus haul. You kept digging into the bag and you pulled out the bonus haul. So let's start with this guy. I picked him up at Target because when these were released through Target, God, it was maybe 2 weeks ago, they had a whole line from, it was Batman Returns, maybe, but they had the Riddler. They had Jim Carrey's Riddler, and it was a spoiler, it's a pop. And I really, really dug it. They had Riddler, they had Two-Face, they had Catwoman, and I really dug them. Tried to get it, couldn't get it. They put it out early, and you had big red warning message. So, and of course, I mean, I'm not gonna be a jerk and try to fight it or whatever. It's just, it is what it is. And I went there, I think a week later, and they had Riddler, but I don't know if this guy wasn't there or I hadn't seen him. Not sure. But the Joker, Jack Nicholson's Joker, look at that. I really, really, really like that. It's a very, very good looking one. Very good looking pop. So I had to get him, because this is, that's a phenomenal one. Really, really excited about that. So let's go into here. We have this little haul set right here. A couple things that I have picked up. There is one more that I did not show off. Should I show that? No, we'll save that to the end. We'll save that to the end. The very first thing that I have here was a pre-order, because one of my first videos that I did was in defense of, we're just talking about Doctor Who Series 11. And I talked a lot about how my opinion still holds that it is the weakest of New Who, not at a fault of any of the cast, but instead the writing and the showrunner. But upon the second watch with my daughter, I really found I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first go around. and she is really enamored with this current Doctor. So once we got done with it, I went ahead and pre-ordered it. Probably shouldn't have, because the week later it dropped, I think, an additional $10, but I still got it for a good price from deep discount. And it came in, and I've already opened this because we watched the first part of the two-parter opening season premiere, and that is Doctor Who Series 12. I've heard a lot with people, when I read reviews, that people that did not like Series 11, that they actually really enjoyed Series 12. And just based on the first part, I can say I'm actually, if it continues in that vein, I am all in. Because the first, because there's 2 hour-long episodes that make up the series premiere. And I wasn't really into it. I was really afraid that we were going to keep getting par for the course of the things that I still dislike about Series 11 of Doctor Who. But it gets really, really good. I'm all in for this one. I really hope that it keeps that momentum going, and they don't deviate too far like they were doing with Series 11. So really am excited to check this out. Plus, because we have some returning characters, so very excited to check that out. Like I said, what I've seen so far, I really, really dig. I had mentioned this in a previous haul video when these had all dropped down to $5, and this one had popped up from Amazon, finally came in, Rambo 3. So now I have those. Not gonna spend too much time talking about that. These two, I usually stay away from Facebook. I try not to go into that too much. But somebody had these up. I got these up for $3 a piece because I picked up the second one on a Dollar Tree haul at the very beginning of the year, and I hadn't seen any of the movies. Hadn't read the books because they're really not my kind of thing. It's something that I would watch in a movie, but I'm not going to spend the time with the story because it's just not my thing. But that is Hunger Games and Mockingjay, Part 1, because I got, I think it was the Canadian release of Catching Fire at Dollar Tree, but both came with the slip. Both of them came with the slip, so that was really, really cool. I didn't expect that, and both arrived in very good condition. So at least, I mean, so there's only one that I'm actually missing, so I can at least start it, because I wasn't going to start Catching Fire, obviously, but now I can at least start it, because my wife, I believe my wife has, if she hasn't actually seen these, I know that she's read the books and that she does enjoy them, and I think that it is something that I would enjoy, because, I mean, it does seem very Battle Royale-esque, so now I can maybe see what, maybe I can see the source material for the meme that I still unfortunately quote to this day. And these two came from Target. I was in Target not that long ago, and they had a little Father's Day set up, and they have both of these down for $5. Both of them I don't have. One I have seen, one I have not. We'll start with the one that I have seen. Very interestingly, we were just talking about Django, and it was Django Unchained. I really enjoyed Django Unchained. So I'm really happy to see it again. My wife has never seen it. I don't know if my wife will sit through the whole 3 hours because it is a Tarantino film. But having seen Django, I'm really interested to check out Django Unchained because I do really like it. But I'm more interested to see how much of Django is in Django Unchained, because from the things I remember, I can remember some bits of it, obviously, but I'm really curious to see how much is in there. How much is in there and how much is, you know, maybe not quite as apparently obvious, I should say. How much Tarantino did what Tarantino does. And this next one, I never saw it. I heard really good things about it. This is the 8th Tarantino film. Yeah, the one directly after Django and before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of my all-time favorite movies that I saw this year. But The Hateful Eight. I don't know. I mean, is it? It's a Western. Probably right after the Civil War. Yep, right after the Civil War. But I know we have Kurt Russell in here. The main thing, I mean, Sam Jackson, yes, Bruce Dern, and we have Michael Matt. Oh, of course, we have. I thought we had Christoph Waltz in this one too, but I guess we don't. Maybe it's Tim Roth that I'm thinking of, because I knew there was somebody that had been in other ones before besides Michael Madsen. But yeah, Tim Roth, Reservoir Dogs. Because I know it's No, I'm thinking, okay, Christoph Waltz was in Django Unchained, he was in Inglourious Basterds. For some reason, I was just thinking, maybe it's because same color palette. Maybe that's what it is. But I'm excited to check this one out. I have always heard good things, especially from people like myself that do enjoy Tarantino. This one, I had the second one from, probably a Dollar Tree haul. Dollar Tree, Big Lots. I've seen them in both. And I picked up the second one. I've got it. It's somewhere, I think down there. And I picked it up and didn't know that it was a sequel. And from my understanding, you could have watched the second one without having seen the first one, but I wanted to watch the first one from that completionist aspect, and I tracked it down, got it for a good price on eBay. Is a DVD copy of Outpost, is a Nazi zombie film. Probably not as good as Dead Snow, but I've heard, cause there's three actually. You have this one, and then the one that I had gotten, which is the Blu-ray copy of Outpost Black Sun, and then the third one is Rise of the Spetsnaz. So very, very excited. As war ravages Eastern Europe, a battle-hardened team of mercenaries sets off on a mission facing an enemy powerful and evil enough to turn these violent, seemingly indestructible men into quivering victims. Surrounded by hostile forces, they fight their way to a half-century-old underground Nazi bunker, a place where soldiers were experimented on to create a superhuman army. The mutilated remains of those soldiers still exist, along with a ghastly discovery, a survivor. Then suddenly the men are attacked by primeval, horrific forces protecting another secret, a nightmare they and the entire world will now have to face. So maybe not quite Nazi zombies then. I guess when you looked at the cover of Black Sun, I thought it was Nazi zombies, like with Dead Snow, where they were trying to reclaim the gold, the stolen gold. This just more like mutant Nazis. Anyways, though, I'm happy to check it out because I hear good things about this one, not the subsequent ones, but I'll probably enjoy them. These three were all that I got on my Dollar Trees. My Dollar Trees are not well stocking, or didn't get a lot of stock in. Maybe hopefully this coming week, maybe they will have gotten some more. Only one store actually had them as the weekly wow, and when I went in there that day, because I passed by the day before, they didn't have anything, and I went there that day, and they just really, it was just kind of like somebody was walking by with a couple of stacks and they dropped them into the big dump bin right there, and that was all they had. But luckily, fellow YouTuber Jeff, Collecting with Hammer, picked up some things that I was definitely looking for, so I am very appreciative of that, and I'm excited to get those. But I picked up three. None of them I've seen. This one I had seen some people picking up on their hauls. It is a thriller. I got it because Liam Neeson and Ed Harris, so it was the cast on this one. Common's in it as well. Come on. It's Run All Night. That was lame. Run All Night. A riveting white knuckle thriller. A mob-based thriller. So that one should be good enough. This one I've never seen it, and I was surprised to find it at Dollar Tree. Funny, haven't seen it, but I've been on the ride. I've been on the ride at Universal, and that is Earthquake with Charlton Heston. Who else is in this one? Anybody else Lauren Green, Ava Gardner? Yep. What year was this one? 1972, 1974. 1974. Yeah, classic disaster film, but I've never seen it, but I've been on the ride. I don't know if the ride is still there at Universal, but it would be cool because I was old enough when me and my family went to Universal to remember it way more than when we went to Disney World for the very first time. So it would be pretty interesting because I have the memories of the ride too. So to see where those scenes that I remember came from, that'll be a treat. And this one, it was a Magnet martial arts film. So that was all that I needed. I know absolutely nothing about this. Maybe it has a little bit of supernatural aspect of it as well. I don't know. We'll find out. And we'll talk about it at some point. But that is At the Gate of the Ghost. No, it isn't just Ghost that makes me think supernatural. There's a couple of things here on the back that make me see it. But yeah, Magnet, especially Dollar Tree wise, Magnet, I just go ahead and pick up. It's kind of like you don't see Scream Factories as much. I have come across some, of course, but I don't see them as often. You'll see Magnet all the time, and so sifting through all the stuff that I'm going to pick up Magnet. Now, the very last one, if you follow me on Instagram, by the way, it's still Triple Feature Creature. Nothing's changed with the name there. You saw when I had posted this, and I got it, and I am so happy. The Al Adamson Masterpiece Collection box set from Severn Films. I am so absolutely thrilled to have this, and this is I talked about in the Instagram post, we will be doing a series on Al Adamson on this particular box set. I'm not going to be doing an unboxing video or anything like that, and I'll explain why on the very first video. But we are going to be doing we're going to be going through all these films together. Obviously not every single one, because of the fact that a lot of these films that are on here are alternate cuts because Al Adamson was a master of exploitation. So some of these are just alternate cuts where maybe okay. I'll explain more when we get into the videos. But this phenomenal booklet is going to be the main resource material, because what I like is that Severin Films has done an amazing job, obviously, with the packaging, of course. But what they've really done that I really like is that they have double build or triple build some of these movies together. Like, it's not in chronological order, but what they have done is put very similar films together that you could double feature, that you could triple feature, because Al Adamson's work and the genres they stepped into is so vast. But the book goes chronologically. So I think that's actually the way that we are going to go, is going to be chronologically. I have already watched the doc, Blood and Flesh. That was the very first thing that I watched. So I'm not going to do a video on that in particular, just because, well, maybe, well, a lot of stuff from that doc could, if I make a whole video on it, then maybe I won't have things to say about the other films. It's fantastic. The documentary is so good. It is so insightful, and then just gets horrible once it goes into the death, because the death is actually way worse than what I knew about. Like, I knew how crazy it was, but I just didn't know the levels of insanity. Absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, we owe such a debt to Severin for not just doing this for Al Adamson and preserving his entire legacy, but to have done this at all, to preserve these kinds of films and this vast body of work. Absolutely incredible. So we will be doing a full series on that, on each of these films. But guys, thank you so very much for sitting down, enjoying the rapid fire review. Hopefully you did, and sitting down and getting the bonus haul in the bag and a sneak peek of what is to come. And if you did very much enjoy this video, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more additional content. We do have the rapid fire reviews. We have bonus hauls, full hauls. We're going to have the Al Adamson series. We have feature presentations, unboxings, and so much more to come. All of my social media and contact information is in the description box down below. Basically, on any social media site, it's Triple Feature Creature. But other than that, guys, I will catch you on the very next video, and then I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.